This is Daniel Simon, Baton Rouge Community College. Of course, this week I'll be, of course, discussing the course syllabus for the History 1113 class y'all signed up for, of course, for the spring semester 2023. So hope everybody's having a great winter break, of course, between the fall and spring semesters. I'll, of course, kind of discuss today the use of Canvas, what kind of announcements and assignments we have up, of course, right now. And of course, I will kind of give you a tour, of course, through the course syllabus that I have, of course, for the class for the spring. And of course, you may have seen already, we do have some announcements already up right now. Of course, right there, we got the Welcome to History 1113, of course, announcement. That's the main announcement you probably should look up right now, of course, going into the spring. That does have a link to the syllabus for the class. It also talks about some other things for the class, like various assignments, modules. We'll look at that as well. Also, it does kind of go into also some assignments that are kind of important right now. Like you see the book report, which is real important. That's one of your major assignments, of course, during the semester. So you do look at that right now, and do let me know later what kind of book title you want to read for the upcoming semester. There is a list of sources that are there. You can also go in assignments and look at the book report assignment as well. But email me those, of course, during the semester. I think there's only 3 students allowed per book. Also have some other assignments that you might be interested in if you want to earn extra bonus points, of course, during the semester. There is the Veterans Oral History Project, usually give out every semester. That's worth up to 200 bonus points. So that is not a mandatory assignment, but do look at that. Of course, I do have the guidelines for that particular assignment, which will be due at the end of the semester in May. There's also examples, some samples I've got of veterans interviews that have been done by previous students at BRCC. So do check that out also on my YouTube channel as well. I do have a new project I am doing for the spring. It's called the Student Historical Documentary Project. You can do up to 2 of those during the semester. They're both worth 100 bonus points each. So do check that one out too. That one might be easier to do, that project. I think the documentaries only have to be a few minutes in length. But you cannot do both of the projects. So you can't do the Veterans Project and the documentary projects. You have to pick either one of those. I've got some other stuff in there as well. You may have seen my little preview video I've kind of posted the week before class, so do check that out also as well. I do know into week 1 we'll have an upcoming lecture on prehistory, which probably going to live stream that one. Will on Wednesday, January 18th. I've got the time of 10 a.m. when I'll probably start live streaming. I don't use Zoom. I have my YouTube channel. I kind of stream lectures too. Now I'll also have probably recorded lectures, of course, also during the semester. So we'll probably have a mix of the 2 as well. Going into week 1 on the bottom there, you do look at those 2 assignments you need to kind of get done, which will count towards attendance, towards the semester. First week, history pre-test, make sure you take that, and also turn in the student contract policy page also as well. Both those, I want those due by Friday, January 20th. They're both worth receive bonus points, of course, for that. So if you have any comments, questions about the class, do let me know, of course, via email. Email is going to be pretty much the main thing to contact me, during the semester. So that's the main announcement y'all should be looking at right now. Of course, I do have some other announcements you can also, like I said, start looking at for the semester. I'll kind of share some of these real quick overall. They have, of course, the pre-test I just told you about right there, and that announcements, like I said, that is due by Friday, January 20th. And so that's going to be one of our main assignments at the beginning of the semester, like week 1. That's going to count towards attendance, like whether you're going to be in the class or not, because we don't really take attendance for class, since this is not a sync class or anything like that. You don't have to be there for the lectures and things like that. But that's basically something you'll need to do announcements wise right there. I've also got a few others you can look at too. I think there's a link to the student contract policy page also right there. So that needs to be turned in. That should be on page 5 of the course syllabus. So do take a look at that. I'll kind of show the syllabus later also as well. But need to look at that and get that done also. I've got some other announcements, of course, you may have seen already too. Of course, you may have seen the preview video right here. It's all over the place. I think the preview video got it in different locations. So you check that out as well. You can leave a comment either on that video, or you can also email me, or also you can go to discussions as well. There should be an area there to leave comments or questions about the class also as well. Like I said, I use StreamYard. StreamYard's kind of a cross between Zoom and Google Meet, but it's more for live streaming. Started doing this a few years ago. So yeah, during live streams, you can watch them, and I do give bonus points for watching the live streams. I think you get 3 bonus points per session or whatever, if I do have a live stream. And if you want to join me in StreamYard, you can. It's not necessary, but there are guest instructions for that on the bottom right there. Guest instructions for using StreamYard, you can see there overall. So do check that out. Do check out my YouTube channel also as well. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel also as well if you want to. I think I've got some links to, I think right here you can go to as well. Those are different links, course for the semester. History 1113 lecture playlist for the spring semester 2023. That's the main playlist we'll probably use for my lectures and other videos that I'll put up during the semester. Also, I've got the direct link to the veterans oral history projects that are on my channel. I don't have all of them up there, but I've got some of the best ones that are up there. And of course, my link to the my YouTube channel also as well. Then, of course, here, History 1113 bonus projects available for the spring semester. Do check that out. I think it goes more into detail about that, but it gives you the links to those that are right there as well. But like I said, you can't do both of them. So you can't do like 400 points, 400 bonus points, all together. But so just decide which one you want to do. Do you want to do one of the bonus projects, either the veterans one, or, of course, the other one, the Student Historical Documentary Project, which the first project for the Historical Documentary one, that one's going to be due in March, and then the second one would be due in May. So you can see the differences right there with those two. So 100 bonus points each. And then the Veterans Project, you can see, will be due in May at the end of the semester. So that's basically, what I've got up right now for all my main announcements. Of course, during the semester, we'll have different announcements. Of course, I'll have, like assignments and other things like that overall. Now, I am going to go back, of course, and kind of go through, I guess, look at different aspects of what I've got in Canvas right now. If you go to, of course, in the area where it says syllabus on the left, of course, you should see the syllabus is right there too. But I did put in there information about the textbook. The textbook isn't really mandatory for my class. It is optional, which you can purchase or rent either from the bookstore, or you can also get online like Amazon.com or something like that. Might be cheaper. Etc. There should be a 12th edition that we're using right now. I think there's different versions of it. I think at the 12th edition, volume 1 only, you can get, which looks like that one right there on the bottom. So either one, decide one. If you're going to take, I guess if you're going to take both, both classes like 1113 and 1123 later, you might want to get the combined edition for later. But you'll definitely need it, like if you want to look up like resources and information. Of course, I do a lot of vocabulary assignments and things like that. You might want it for that also, but you can also use secondary sources online like encyclopedias. So there's the bookstore down there, their number and email address. Also, I've got some links I've put in there too about, online versions you can get like Amazon.com. I think in that section they have a course summary they kind of put in there too, but it's not really in there right now for grades that you can really see yourself. Those are the stuff that might be up later. I probably might put up later. So yeah, now assignments, I'll kind of go through that real quick. I do have a few of those that are open right now. We can take a look at, of course, the first key terms assignments. One of the main things y'all need to kind of start looking at right now. That's the first vocab, which will be due in February, like February 17th. I got the date for that, which will be due in Canvas online, of course. So those are some of the terms y'all need to define. Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 terms, like kind of like in the textbook I've got that I kind of picked out. But that assignment should be typed. I think usually I prefer a minimum definition of 1 to 2 sentences. That's just an average. It won't necessarily be a sentence form, that kind of thing. But I think this semester I'm kind of doing something different with the sources, like whatever sources that you use for, of course, this assignment. I prefer like just a list in the back. So list your sources pretty much in the back. MLA format is preferred, but I don't think you have to list the actual, whatever kind of source you use under each term. So just basically give me a kind of a list of sources you used and put it in the back of your assignment at the end. Now I do have other assignments. Of course, the book report I just told you about is right here. So there should be the assignment in there. It's also listed in the actual syllabus on page 4. You can go in there. It does have a list of sources for the book report and review. You can see there. So do kind of look over that list of books. Do let me know during the semester what book you want to read for the semester. Did include a writing rubric also as well. For this particular assignment, and I do have a limit of 3 students per book on the actual book list. How much you have to read for whatever book you pick? I prefer like a third at least minimum. So if the book is 300 pages, you'll need to read at least 100 pages on average. So that assignment will later do, I think in April 21st, what I've got up there, right there. So yeah, I'll show you later the assignment that's in the syllabus, but it should be on page 4. You want to go back and look at that later. Of course, the pre-test right here listed also. Student contract policy page, I just talked about that. Of course, the student struggle documentary project, which I just showed you. There should be some guidelines for that are in there. It's also, I think, listed in the actual syllabus, but there should be, I think if you go down to the bottom here, it should list guidelines for it that you have to follow for the actual assignment, which that'll be due later, of course, like I said, during at the end of the semester. Actually, I'm sorry, there'll be 2 assignments, of course, one at midterm, of course, and one, of course, in May. The other one, which I told you, is the Veterans Project, which is right here. That one, of course, like I said, will be due at the end of the semester. That also includes 2 oral history guidelines for that particular project right there. So, like I said, do let me know, during the semester, like if you want to do that project, of course, or the documentary project, which both of those, of course, are for a lot of bonus points. So look over those, of course, in those assignments. Of course, I do have study guides listed for like our quizzes and our exams, which are right here. So first exam study guide is worth up to 30 bonus points per exam. Now, all those are due, by the way, at the end of the semester. So I think it's kind of divided into different sections. I know the first one's mostly got those topics that are on there, which I think those I know were the topics that were going to be like on the first exam. I think that might be again the exam again this year. But I think the first exam study guide itself goes up from like prehistory. I think it goes up to, I want to say, Israelites or something like that. It's about how far it goes up to. And then I think the other ones have different assignments in it that they've got, like sections in the study guide. Like I think the second one, yeah, that one's got India, China, Greece, and some of the early Roman history that are in it also as well. And then I think the final exam study guide, it has, I think it goes from like the Roman Empire, Byzantine Empire, the rise of Islam, and then of course the Middle Ages. So it's kind of some of the different topics we'll kind of cover. And some of these will be on, quizzes, and some of these will be on exams, throughout the semester. I don't think there's too much on there assignment-wise that I've got that you can look at right now. In quizzes, we don't have much except I think the only thing you'll be able to see is the pre-test. So this is kind of my view, what it looks like. But in modules, we do have, of course, some things I've posted in there already. Of course, I tell you that preview video, do check that out. Of course, I kind of posted earlier the week before classes started. So if you have a question about the course, please let me know, or you can email me, or you can also, of course, leave a message with the video, of course, on YouTube as well. This course, this recorded syllabus review I'm kind of doing today. I'll kind of post it here, put it right here, but I'm also going to put it, of course, in announcements also as well. So I am, like I said, reviewing over the syllabus before classes get started, for next week. So this is kind of like week 0, going into week 1, of course, into the semester, because I know next week's kind of short for us, because I know on Monday they have Martin Luther King Jr. Day holiday. So I think we only have one class day I've got scheduled for week 1, which is a lecture, which of course will be on prehistory, mostly on the historical background of prehistory and the early humans, how they kind of develop and all that. And I'll kind of get into like some of the early civilizations that get started, like Mesopotamia at the beginning, at the end of prehistoric times, etc. So I'll kind of have a live stream lecture about that, which we'll have kind of an announcement about that probably sometime. I guess I'll probably have sometime, I know, I want to say this week or probably next week. I'll probably give it to you when it'll be. There'll later be a quiz, of course, on that, on prehistory. So a lot of sections I haven't really filled in yet. I'm still kind of working on some things. But if you do go down, it does put the study guides in modules also as well. They're also in assignments also right here. Kind of just put it there also. I did put the list of sources for the book report right there also as well. So I put that in there. Oral history guidelines for the BRCC Veterans Oral History Project. I put that there also as well. I do have an academic calendar, of course, that I did also attach as well, which you can look at, which I think a lot of the dates in there I've got right now really, I think you've got some holidays and things like that, and maybe when some assignments are due, but not all those are actually in there. It does have the last drop date and things like that also. And I do list my office hours, of course, I've got for the semester. I'm only on campus Tuesdays and Thursdays in LA 328. So those are my office hours, Tuesday, Thursday, 9:30 to 10:30 and 12 to 1:30 p.m. And then home pretty much online, of course, during the semester, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, via email mostly, which I do is my main preferred contact. But those are my phone numbers below if you want them also as well. 216-8495, of course, my main office number, which only on Tuesdays and Thursdays, of course. And then I do have my cell phone number if you want that, 937-9242. So that's kind of a basic tour of what I've got right now, of course, on Canvas right now. There are a few other things I'll kind of show you also as well. Of course, on the left-hand side, you can also see I've got, like, if you look on the left side, there should be my YouTube channel, which you have to get a separate link to that to get to it right there. I'll kind of show you that. I think I've shown you already before in the preview video about that, but you should be pretty familiar with that already on my channel. You can kind of explore it if you want all that. I do have a discussion section, which is right here. The only thing I've got pinned up right now, of course, is the if you have any questions about the course, please let me know. Of course, right there. I'll probably have some other discussion type questions, of course, during the semester that we'll have also as well. You should see on the left, there's a section for grades also as well, which I don't think anybody has any grades up there right now. And then there is a section you'll see for files also right here. And those are just any kind of file that you, I guess, in the class, if you want to look for, they're pretty much in there. There might even be some files in there that are probably not supposed to be there, but or you'll look at it later, that kind of thing. But that's kind of a tour, a major tour, I guess, of what Canvas looks like right now. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and also go into and discuss the syllabus. I need to kind of do that also as well, and give you an idea of kind of what the syllabus looks like and all that, which I'll kind of go through and discuss. And let me kind of go ahead and bring that up for you so you can kind of see it right now. So let me bring that up so you look at it. It should have some basic information in it. Of course, at the top, of course, I'm Daniel Simon, by the way, Associate Professor of History at BRCC. I've been teaching at BRCC since 2001, so I think it's my 22nd year teaching or something like that. I'm a dinosaur, I guess, teaching that kind of thing. Anyway, it does have like information in there, of course, like contact information at the top. You can see there. Yeah, I do have an office, third floor, Louisiana building on the Mid-City campus. Usually there, like I said, on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I told you about that. Usually in the mornings, I told you 9:30 to 10:30. I think I told you I've also 12 to 1:30 also as well. I do have two contact phone numbers. My office number, 216-8495, and of course 937-9242 is my cell number. For email, like I said, Simon D. mybrcc.edu. Email me during the semester. Pretty much good at answering emails, usually within the day, unless it's late at night or something like that kind of thing. Now, you see there, it talks about course description. This is a survey type course. So we kind of go through a broad amount of different historical topics. Starting with prehistoric times, I go through like the early, civilizations, like during the Bronze Age. Ancient Mesopotamia, probably the first one we'll do ancient Egypt, India, China, pretty much do all that. Then I go into ancient Greece. Do a lot in the Roman period. I'm kind of a Roman historian. That's my background. Studied mostly is Roman history. So Romans, and then of course Byzantine Empire, rise of Islam, the Middle Ages. So those are all the kind of topics that we predominantly cover pretty much throughout the semester. Of course, it is a 3-hour credit course. You can see right there. And it does include other things in there like learning outcomes. Those are things you should be able to do when you complete the course, etc. Demonstrate knowledge of important historical events, things like that. Locate, retrieve historical data, comprehend sources, and stuff like that for the semester. I think it also goes to general education, learning outcomes are also listed there as well. Like I said, the textbook is right there. Of course, it's called A History of World Societies, the 12th edition. There's different versions, like Volume 1, I guess is the main one. If you want to just get that particular textbook, of course, and then you can get the combined edition also if you're going to take 1113 and also 1123 as well. But like I said, the textbook is not mandatory for the class. You might want to get it for resources for the class, like looking up stuff, historical information. And then also, obviously, your vocabulary type assignments, which there'll be 4 of those during the semester, which I told you the first one's already been posted already, which will be due next month in February. So that one's 150 points, and I think all 4 combined are 600 points. So if you don't do those, you might fail the class, basically. Now, it does go into like the assignments. Of course, I'll have 3 exams during the semester, which of course will all be online. With online exams, I usually give you 2 attempts, but they're averaged out. So if you make like 120 on the first attempt, and then you make a 180, that means that your grade will be 150. It's basically the way it is. So yeah, you might want to do bonus type assignments and things like that to catch up on some of the points. Like if you don't think you might do as well on the actual exams, but most of them will be kind of a combination of things like multiple choice, matching, fill in the blank, short answer, those kind of type questions I'll probably have. I usually don't do essay online because I do a paper instead. So yeah, each one will be worth 200 points, of course. I usually don't give a midterm exam when we reach midterm week. I'm usually kind of between exams, but usually I give like a midterm makeup week is what I usually do for those that have missed some assignments at the first half of the semester. There is a student exemption for the final exam. I think some of you probably have heard about this before, but those students that have a high grade, like A+ going into the final, you not have to take the final, but you still have to complete your remaining assignments that are out there. So that might be whatever kind of vocab assignments that are left and quizzes, or obviously even the book report, which will be, of course, due at the end of the semester. Then, of course, you've got also like the book report. I'll get to that later. That's on page 4, of course. And that's one of our major assignments, of course, that I've got for the semester. So do check that out, of course, also as well. We'll have various quizzes throughout the semester. Some of these might be worth 50 or 100 points, depending on what it is. Sometimes I give you bonus type assignments too, like bonus quizzes. I sometimes do that too, also as well, which might be on a lecture or it might be on a documentary or something like that, basically. You do get 150 points for participation points, but that's primarily for like if you do your assignments or not in the semester. So if you don't do your assignments, you'll probably fail the class, that kind of thing. Then I've got a little blurb in there about the Veterans Oral History Project, which I've already told you about, but you can go to assignments and take a look at that right there. But if you know like someone who's a relative that's a veteran, or a friend that's a veteran, or if you yourself is a veteran, you can also have someone interview you also as well. But you can also contact veterans organizations to see if you can find someone who wants to volunteer to be interviewed for this project. I think if you look at it, you don't really need a transcript. I think it says that in there still for some reason. But you need either a video, which is preferred, video interview, or an audio interview, either one. You do need a release form, of course, that's signed by the veteran that's being interviewed as well. So that particular assignment, like I said, it's going to be due in May. And I do have a link below, of course, which you can see on Canvas also as well. You know, the link to some of the actual projects. You can probably go on my YouTube channel and find them anyway, the different examples of different projects that are out there. Then I told you I've got that student historical documentary project also as well, which if you do 2 of them, like both of them combined, of course, it's worth up to 200 bonus points. But those throughout the semester, it's where students will kind of create their own short historical documentary. It's only got to be 3 to 5 minutes. That's it, like the video format for it right there. So I think, like I said, the first one's due in March and the second one's due in May. And do look at the guidelines I've got listed, of course, that are with the assignment that's in Canvas assignments right now. So that's not a mandatory project, but obviously these are points that you can earn. They can help pad your grade in the semester, or help you out if you have a lower grade. Of course, the grading scale is a 10-point scale, of course, and so you'll need, like I said, to make an A in the class, 90% of say 2,000. That'll be 1,800 points. The section on plagiarism, please do not, plagiarize someone's paper, like do your own work. Don't plagiarize, authors type works. Make sure you list your sources that are used. Like the vocab assignment, just kind of give me a brief list of whatever you used for that particular assignment. For the book report, I just need a, work citation of whichever book you decide to read, things like that. The BRCC student handbook should talk about plagiarism. I think it's got 3 different degrees of plagiarism that could exist, but it could affect your grade in the class. Like if you have a D in the class, like say if you plagiarize the book report, which I had a few last semester did that, it could drop your grade or give you an F. There's a section on safety that's also in the syllabus, so take a look at that. 216-888, of course, is the main number for campus police if you're on campus. That kind of thing. And I think BRCC has some kind of emergency text message email system they have for the college, I know, called BRCC Connect. I think it's called. I don't know if you'll need that or not, but that's also listed in there as well in the syllabus. There is the thing about student code of conduct. I don't know if that's going to be a big of a thing with that, with online classes, but anyway, if you're in a live class, say on campus or whatever, it does go more into detail probably with that. You should obviously follow the handbook, whatever it says, of course, about that. If you're on campus, you'll need a student ID and parking tag, things like that as well. BRCC also has the Academic Learning Center. If you need help with tutoring, I don't think history has any disciplines for that for tutoring, but they do have things like English and math, etc. The librarians can help you out with like researching books and things like that and writing papers, etc. So you check that out as well. Disability Services, that is also on campus. There's also the Testing Center as well. They have also Proctorio, but I don't know if I'm really using that much for online exams since, you get 2 attempts anyway. But I think I'm going to average out the attempts on a lot of assignments is what I'm probably going to end up doing. I'm thinking about doing it on the quizzes also as well. So thinking about that to give you an idea of how I'm probably going to do this. So there's the book report, like I said, which is on page 4. Do check that out. And like I said, each student is going to have to read at least one historical work for the semester. Do, like I said, have a list of sources that you can look at that are in Canvas right now. Like I said, you have to read at least a third of the book. It does include kind of a summarization of the work, and I do want some kind of critical review about the work also as well. This book you may have to, go to a library and find it. You may have to buy it. You may have to find sometimes there's primary sources that are out there that are basically on the internet that you can also get as well. But some students like to get also the actual book itself. So do research the book itself. Try to find it. Do look at the list and just decide which one you think you want to do. Give me an idea. Maybe have more than one idea of a book that you want to read for the semester. At least 3 that you want to pick. At least you might want to do, and try to narrow it down to the one you want. But make sure you don't use outside sources, of course, for this assignment. So you're basically just reading this book itself and trying to write notes about it, and then give me some kind of summarization of what the author wrote about. And then also critical review also of the book itself. The paper must include it has to have a cover page, which you don't give me that. It's going to probably take points off for that. Double spacing using 12 font. Make sure you use correct margins. Minimum length is 3 pages. Double space, that's the main body, of course, of the paper. So try to keep it somewhere between 3 to 5 is a good range for the paper, but you can have it longer, like 8 to 10 pages. That's fine. Just the minimum length is something you need to stay away from. Try to have more than less, because if it's like 2 to 3 pages, like short, I'm going to end up taking points off on it. So at least have the minimum amount for the paper. Make sure you cite whichever book you used in some kind of MLA citation also as well. I think I've got a link right there. You can see where you can go and look at what the actual how to cite a book basically. Now the main section of the paper, that should be like a summarization of the actual work. So like I said, do take notes on the book that you're reading. Try to stick to the main points that the author talks about. You don't have to write everything down the author talks about. Then there should be some kind of short review either at the end, or you can just kind of include the review within the actual book when you're writing this paper. Also, I have included like critical type review questions you can ask about, what you're writing about this paper. Did you like the work? Would you recommend it to someone for reading? What were some positive or negative aspects of the work? What were some positive, negative aspects of the author's style of writing on the subject? So those are examples of some things you could talk about, but don't kind of stray away from other things. Don't write about yourself and things like that. Stick pretty much to the book. I don't really require a rough draft, but sometimes when you put up a draft, I sometimes might tell you to redo it, that kind of thing. But you can email me a copy of your paper if you want me to take a look at it and kind of proofread it for you if you want also as well. But don't forget you can use spell check and things like that as well. I think you have Gramercy if you hear about that. Gramercy, which is pretty good. Check spelling and grammar issues within your paper overall. Do check for plagiarism. I got a link down easybib.com. For plagiarism check. I think there's a lot of different plagiarism checkers that are online. You can kind of take a look at, but make sure you don't have anything plagiarized in the paper, because that's one of the first things I'm going to do when you turn it in. I'm going to put it through a plagiarism checker online. So like I said, the paper is going to be due in April. Course worth up to 200 bonus points. There is a deal where you can do it if you want. You can substitute the research paper for the Veterans Project. So if anybody wants to do that instead, the Veterans Project, that means that you'll do that instead of the research paper. But you have an option to do that all the way. I usually let students do that. Then there should be a last main page syllabus, the student contract policy page right here. That goes into like attendance policies and things like that for the class, which a lot of that is not really about like whether you watch a lecture or not and that kind of thing. But it's more like if you complete the assignments per week that we have, that's how we're going to count attendance pretty much. So no, but there's really going to be no excuse because, I've got a YouTube channel and, my lectures are going to be posted up there pretty much on my channel. I should have, like I said, a playlist, of course, for that I'll have. So, yeah, do make sure to go back and, whatever you've missed to try to, catch up and recover and try to make up assignment. But I am going to have makeup periods, like I said, the midterm, that I'll have a makeup period. And I think for last semester I did for the final period also for the final exam week. Don't forget there's an academic learning center. It might help you with some other class, not mine, that kind of thing. But you don't forget drop the class. So that's something you can do. I think my academic calendar does have a drop date, I think, listed in it as well. But don't forget you can drop a class and take a W in the semester. So, yeah, you do get attendance participation points, which are like 150 points. There should be a section on the bottom of the student information page. So you fill that out and just post that in the assignment that I've got in Canvas. There should be some kind of student contract policy assignment. Just post that in there. You have another option, which you can email me and just tell me that you agree to the terms of the syllabus. You can also do that also as well. Or you can also email it to me if you want. There should be some other pages in the syllabus, like the military absence policy has also been listed in there as well. So there's procedures for that and documentation for that they posted in there. And then also there should be the student athlete absence policy. That should be in there as well in the back. So if anybody's a student athlete, you can get excused, of course, for missing class because of a sporting event. So that's something I do allow, of course, for that. And I think at the end, there should be a section, syllabus addendum on the course continuity in case of a crisis that occurs. I think that's more for like face-to-face classes that might have to go online, that kind of thing. But I've got that in there also posted as well. So that's kind of a tour of what, Canvas looks like in the syllabus and all that. Like I said, if you have any questions about the class, let me know, mostly via email. Of course, I'll be sending out announcements like going into week one, of course, about like our first lecture I'll have, which I told you our first lecture is going to be on prehistory. I'll kind of go into like development of early humans, I'll also talk about the background of early how history kind of started, like what history is, and I'll kind of talk about Herodotus, who was really one of the first historians, like a long time ago. He's kind of important as a figure, but I'll kind of get into like development of early humans and talk about early civilizations that kind of get started at the beginning. And then after that, I'll get more into talking about, of course, like the early civilizations, ancient Mesopotamia. I think in Egypt would be some of the first ones I'll kind of get to first. So that's it for pretty much, this particular syllabus review. Like I said, if you got a question about the class, do let me, of course, know. So y'all have a great week and all that, and great weekend also as well.